to the Dangerville podcast.
Like we always do about this time.
It's Friday night. You are the greatest show of all time.
They're like, yeah, we all got tough here. I'm like,
love that. Tough year. More like broken follicle year.
yeah, I was just like, you are incorrect about health.
All right, yes. Finally got him here. The man, the myth, the legend here. Mr. Rick Johnson. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right.
You're all right? You got real quiet all of a sudden here.
No. It was funnier when you used the term legend to come in quiet.
Not everybody can handle the bright lights when the cameras go on. What can you say?
Sure. Oh, you're filming this?
You're
All
on
right.
camera too, buddy.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yes, sir. Just on you too. It's only like
In fairness, those cameras are here for entirely different reasons. So there's a whole other setup that goes on here Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
Look what I found.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I knew I had it still in the collection.
A controversial cover.
Really?
Well, it's because it's a baby and it says "Shake This." I'll tell you this.
All these years, I never put that together, dude.
Sure. I mean,
Not like I put a lot of thought into it.
sure. I mean, we got a lot of shit for it.
That's hilarious.
But also,
man.
that is Ben, the guitarist's mom, as a baby,
right.
which was funny to us. But so,
Is our relationship and everything okay? It seems,
I don't think we realized as 19-year-olds that this stuff may exit our group of friends, so that maybe a not PC joke would.
Well, this was
Fly.
pre-internet too, so you know.
Is. I think that was internet.
What year would that have been?
That would have been like 99, maybe 1999,
Okay.
or 90,
That's right.
maybe 2000.
Yeah.
It probably has a copyright on it.
It probably does.
Which didn't mean anything because we
Indeed,
didn't
you
get it
just made it up.
copywritten.
it would make for a killer and pretty confusing T-shirt, though.
Do you remember the poor man's copyright? Did you
Where
ever
you
do
would
this?
just
Where you
mail
it?
it to yourself?
You do. Yeah, I'm sure.
But the funny thing is, like,
1999.
yeah, they no one's gonna be stealing
Right, I know, right?
your songs.
Yeah, indeed. Those son of a bitches. I think this Wack Trucks album.
What's the copyright? You mail something to yourself?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what's
the
this
poor
stuff?
man's copyright is you put it in a sealed envelope and mail it to yourself so it gets date stamped by the government on the envelope. And then you have a provable copy if you were ever like brought to court
This is
or
a
something
shocking
like
turn
this.
of
Yeah,
events
this
here,
is the
you know,
stuff we
okay.
thought was going to be important when we were, like you're saying, 19, making shitty records in your basement.
Well, it's all like people were like, I don't know. It felt like the people that were one generation above me were real worried about that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, it was unfounded. Like it's like they read a book about the music business.
Yes.
But didn't like
I
we
think
were
you're
living
right.
in Muskegon, Michigan.
Yeah.
So like there was no
I think we all read that book, seriously.
I didn't read that book.
I never learned to read, actually. When did was the Wack Trucks your first real band then?
Well, define real.
Well, I mean, like actually playing shows, having like guys that were like in the thing, like you know.
In the thing.
Yeah, in the band, you know, like guys that showed up regularly, and it wasn't just like
Sure.
my buddy down the road, you know, like
Well, technically, the Wack Trucks was the buddies down the road.
Sure,
So like
yeah.
we started in 1993.
Oh,
and
shit,
technically
okay.
that was. It was not my first band, but if by what you're stating, that was my first band.
Yeah.
You know, like it was like in 93, it was just us, you know, like going to practice because there was nothing to do, you know?
yeah.
So
What would have you guys been trying to play back then? Like 93, were you guys playing like trying to do like Nirvana songs and shit like that, or like
No.
classic rock, or like,
no. We played, I think we played 5 or 6 covers when we started, but we started writing songs almost immediately.
Oh, nice, yeah.
But like the covers were like, we played Anarchy in the UK by the Sex
Okay,
Pistols.
like punk rock shit.
Yeah,
sure.
A lot of Steely Dan in there.
Yeah. A lot of Yngwie Malmsteen tunes there.
Yeah. Do you know that Ben the guitarist for Wack Trucks' older brother, coined the term yacht rock.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Really? So is he doing? Was he the guy doing that documentary?
He's
and all
not.
that shit?
He's in the documentary, but he's not.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Since you're talking about Steely Dan.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nice claim to fame.
Yeah,
Does he see
yeah.
any sweet royalties off of that?
No, definitely not.
In fact,
Kickback from Spotify.
So when Sirius was doing, like they have a yacht rock channel,
Sure.
and I think they got asked to like curate it.
Right.
I could be wrong, so if I'm wrong about this,
Our hundreds of fans already. Don't worry.
they got removed because they were like, "This isn't yacht." They were just like,
Wow.
because they have a very narrow definition about what is yacht rock.
Yeah.
And like XM was like, "You got to put more brandy on there." Like the song.
Oh, okay.
Because it's about the sea.
My head went to the artist. Brandy.
Sure. No. So
That's hilarious. Though I did not know that.
But yeah, we were playing punk rock. It wasn't
3 chords and the truth, baby.
or 4.
Yeah.
And we did a Green Day cover. I remember
Nice.
that.
Yeah. Were you always like were you always playing bass or like?
Yeah. That was my primary. Like I played trombone in like high school band.
Okay. What high school did you go to?
Mona Shores.
Okay.
Everybody in that band went to that. high school.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So
Because I mean, obviously, I became familiar with the Wack Trucks, tagging along with my brother and Rick Beam and Randy Beam and all those dudes, and playing in and out of their bands and shit, But I was the younger brother.
Sure.
So, I was like, there was just this crazy fucking punk rock. There was a lot of crazy punk rock bands around then, but you guys were definitely like crazy and also like kind of like the most respected in a lot of ways, at least for us, you guys were the ones throwing the fuck down, filling up Palmer Hall and shit, it was crazy times.
What was the stage at? I mean, were you guys getting like nuts on stage and going full out with it, or kind of doing the whole thing?
Yeah, it was wild times.
Not immediately. So we saw the Beastie Boys play, and they were just jumping the whole time.
Yeah.
And we're like, you gotta do it.
That's what we do.
You gotta do it. And then, right around the time that record came out, At the Drive-In played in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Yeah.
In basically the basement of a record store. So Vertigo in town used to be another record store called Vinyl Solution over on 28th Street.
Yep.
And for the last 6 months of that store, they had shows in the basement. And so At the Drive-In played there.
Nice.
And so I saw At the Drive-In, which I was going to leave before they played.
Thank God.
And
Would have been a hell of a story in retrospect.
Yeah. And my buddy was like, "You should stick around." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then it blew my fucking mind.
For sure.
And then after that, it was like, "Go harder."
Yeah, indeed. Yeah,
those guys had to get
wild,
I've never seen them live. Like, we're both big Volta fans. I love At the Drive-In as well, but never caught them live. I mean, are those guys just nuts on stage? I gotta imagine they were probably getting the fuck after it for sure.
At that time, yeah.
Yep.
And then I saw them a couple other times, and it was like more like, "Oh, they're going so hard that these songs are unrecognizable at that point."
Yeah.
Which that's not their vibe anymore.
Yeah, no. There was a lot of heroin involved.
I know there's a lot of crack, actually.
Yes, it was.
I can confirm.
You're right. Yeah,
it was crack.
Yeah, they talk about that in that documentary that just came out. I don't know if you caught that. Omar, Cedric and Omar. It's called like Things Can Get Weird or some shit like that. It was like did all the film festivals and everything, and actually my buddy sent me a bootleg copy of it, which I shouldn't say on here. I'll get arrested.
It's fine.
It was great. Check it out. I mean, if you're a fan of those guys,
they talk about how they were just smoking crack.
He talks about like Omar went on this fucking walkabout over the United States basically, and just like had no money, and crack was the cheapest thing, so it just like it was fucking
Lord knows sobriety wasn't an option.
Well, I think it was. So did they talk about like their management just like feeding them drugs?
No, I don't think they talked about the management. I mean, they talked about it more got into like the Mars Volta because there was a ton of drugs going on there early on, and the dude who died, and everything that was there. I guess he was in the band, that like effects dude or whatever that OD'd or something.
They lost me. Like I couldn't hang.
I I loved the last At the Drive-In record, but I got really into the Mars Volta.
Sure.
The Mars. There's a Mars Volta poster over there. Actually, they're like one of my top fucking bands ever, really. So for a lot of reasons, but a lot of it's because it was so goddamn weird.
Sure.
Weird with amazing drumming. Those are like my like.
Okay.
I like the drummers. So
I feel like being a crack addict in the rock world's a pretty bold move. You don't hear too much.
I think
like DMX.
So like I've had people that I know that have worked for them and have told me stories where it's basically like it felt like management was trying to keep them contained and kind of complacent to push the machine down the
that adds up.
And so they were just like feeding them drugs to keep them in line, which was backfiring.
It totally tracks. I mean, just with like the style of their tunes and everything, like it's very spastic, very just kind of all over the map. Like that math checks out for sure.
Cedric was talking about how much weed he was smoking too. There were pictures of him with just like like fucking
gotta balance out the cracks,
and shit.
Like, give a little take.
And not to just keep talking about fucking these guys. I want to talk about you, but he. I don't know if everybody knows this or everybody here knows this. Is he went all into Scientology and everything, and that's why they broke up and all this shit.
At the drive-in?
No, the Mars Volta. Like when the Volta fucking imploded. And like they weren't talking to each other, and like fucking Omar had to go. The only way Cedric would talk to Omar is if Omar went and did this like 2-week retreat with the sweat lodge and the whole fucking thing. He went and did it just to be able to fucking talk to the guy again and be like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like kind of thing. It's pretty great documentary.
Okay. All right.
And now they're back together. I'm seeing them in 2 weeks.
Oh, sick.
With Deftones.
Sick.
At Little Caesars Arena, which is pretty fucking crazy.
Is that the football or the hockey arena?
Basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the one that serves pizza.
Well, basketball and hockey, right? Don't the Wings play there now too, I think?
Yeah. I
had to drive in at the Palace as well.
Hell yeah.
They were opening for Rage Against the Machine.
Nice.
That would have been fun show to see.
Yeah. Caught a couple shows at the Palace. It was always kind of wild. I saw 9 Inch Nails there, and we had to sign a waiver.
Was there a video being filmed?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. No, the waiver was a bodily injury waiver.
Interesting.
Yes, it was interesting. Going down on the floor, we were like, "What the fuck?"
They're giving Reznor carte blanche to do whatever.
Last time I was there, I saw Neil Young and Wilco.
Okay, yeah.
And my dad was like, "You want to go see Neil Young and Wilco?" I was like, "Sure, let's go." And so we went. It was kind of the winter. And no, it was the winner. And my dad did the classic dad thing of like, the show has ended, but there's going to be an encore. So we got to go.
Oh, classic.
Because we got to beat traffic. I don't know if I was living in Muskegon at the time or if I was living in Grand Rapids, but like he was like, we got to go. I was like, okay, let's go.
Nice.
And he's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. So we go to the bathroom, and he's wearing like this puffy coat, George Costanza style. And this guy's like, look at this fucking loser with this puffy coat. I was like, yo, that's not cool. He's like, it's not like this is your dad. And my dad and I don't really look alike. And I was like, it is my dad. And then the guy tried to like fight me. And like security
at a Wilco show,
getting coat-shaded at a Wilco show is pretty unfortunate.
So that was the last time I was at the Palace.
That's cool. Yeah, as a pet, did they tear that fucker down?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, let's fucking go back to some fucking. I need some more Wack Trucks lore here. Did you guys do more than this record thing?
Yeah, there's 4.
Damn. Okay. I only had this one. Sorry.
Sure.
buddy.
The one after this is much better.
Yeah. Was this the first one?
That's the second one. We don't talk about the first one.
Okay. The first one doesn't even count. It's not even.
Well, the first one does count, but it's there's some questionable lyrics. We'll say.
Yeah, indeed.
There's questionable lyrics on that one, but it's not as egregious.
Right. That's so funny. Did you? I gotta see if my memory is correct here, which is might not be. I've smoked a lot of weed.
Sure.
Did you play in a ska band called the Decepticons or something?
No. So the Decepticons was a band from Chicago.
Okay.
Who are great. I played in a ska band called the Skeptics.
The Skeptics. Thank you. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yes.
We're gonna have a strong word with the research team after this episode.
I know. This is all from memory.
Was it you?
Yes, it was my faded, terrible memories. What we're going on, the Skeptics, yes, okay, and but were the Decepticons? They must have been coming over and playing and doing the shows together. Or something. And I was very young. You got to remember, I was like way younger, like at these shows than I probably should have been. Like originally, I was 14 or something. So
it's I went to the Ice Pick the first time I think when I was 10 or 11.
Damn. Okay. Nice.
My babysitter took me to hang out with her boyfriend.
Nice. My first concert ever, I was 11 years old, and it was White Zombie and the Ramones. I was
at that show.
Yeah, at the LC.
That show. Oh my God. Okay, so I went to that show to see the Ramones.
Yeah.
And the Super Suckers opened up.
Yeah, Super Suckers, yep.
And I was like, not about White Zombie.
Yeah.
That's not my life. But I had paid for the ticket, so I was like, I'm going to watch some White Zombie.
Yeah.
Just to check it out.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, this is great. Like it's like Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get this. This is cool.
Yep.
And then I what year was that?
Fuck, I was in the 6th grade. I don't even know, man.
So whatever year that was, I was like, had made the decision or had figured out that like maybe there's stuff that I deem as bullshit that I should check out because I'm just wrong.
Yeah.
And so I bought tickets to see Pantera with that notion in my brain.
Right. Also at the LC.
Yep. And watched Pantera at the show and was like, oh my God, I'm wrong. This is not for me.
Yeah.
And then somebody punched me in the face. And then I left. And then later in my life, I was dating this person and we were just talking about shows we'd seen. And she said, oh, I went and saw Pantera. I was like, oh, I saw Pantera too. She's like, oh, and I was like, I got punched in the face at that show. And then she was like, she kind of like didn't go white, but like was like, I punched you in the face. I was like, oh, and I described the person, and she's like, that was my boyfriend at the time.
Wow.
And I told him to punch you.
Oh my God.
This guy was wearing a Wilco shirt.
Why did you deserve a punch? In front of my dad?
Why did you deserve a punch?
She said I was eyeballing her, but
to be fair, you probably were.
Well, yeah, I was freaked out because, like, did you ever see Pantera?
No, but my brother and a bunch of his friends were at that same show.
Yeah,
but I didn't
it
get
was
to go
like
to that one.
It felt. It's very rare that I feel like scared at a show.
No, I get it. That was an arrow,
and like it was just like. These people are just being belligerent and like are just fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Pantera's fan base is problematic, to be sure.
Pantera is problematic.
Yes.
Did you read that Rex Brown book?
No, but
you should.
I never really got into Pantera in any real way.
That book is worth reading because like you kind of learn why that stuff is all crazy.
Right.
But like,
no, I'm not a big fan of Phil Anselmo as a
bad.
human being.
He's bad.
But I like I guess I like Dimebag and those and Vinny. I'm sure they got their problems too. I'm not super into it, but like,
well, yeah, they're dead.
Well, that's a problem.
That would seem to be
everybody seemed
to the top of the list.
Dimebag was a fucking cool dude, or whatever. So I don't know, but obviously they did a lot of crazy shit. So.
Sure. Yeah. The Rex Brown book is a quick read and worth reading just because you'll be like, oh, everyone's bad.
Yeah, I bet.
The Pantera thing, it just feels like they were always trying to sell angry, which I don't think has to be inherent with metal shit, but it's like these guys are real worked up about a whole lot of nothing here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man. No, I'm not into it. And the whole thing doing it now that those other guys are dead and these other guys just came back.
It feels gross.
I agree. That we talked about when it happened. We were talking about it on here 2 years ago when they started it or whatever. Now it's just like, my opinion is it's just, I'm not like super anti cash grab either. You got to make a living, you know what I mean? But it's like at the same time, I was like, this is just fucked up, dude. You guys are waiting until both of them are dead.
I mean,
like,
everybody in that situation, I mean, everybody should just be doing their own thing. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like,
agreed.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
Counterpoint, money.
Indeed. Fair.
Yeah, but like that's gonna that's gonna dry up. And I think it already is. Like the reports of like what's happening now with them is like it's not that great,
Yeah. I believe it. So when did you, I guess I guess walk me. This is where I get a little hazy on it.
Sure.
When do you join like Mustard Plug? Where did you move to? Did you move to Kalamazoo with those
No,
dudes, or were
no,
you
no.
okay? Like Cone and those dudes, they moved to Kalamazoo for a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm real bad with time.
Me too.
So basically, by the tail end of Wack Trucks being like a normal band, the writing was on the wall that like, oh, we are not going to tour. We're not going to play normal shows. Like,
Yeah.
somebody is moving to Alaska.
Yeah.
My buddy Ben is going to move to Oregon.
Right.
I need to figure out, like, I had put all my eggs in the rock and roll basket.
Right.
And so that's when I started doing solo shows. And I did that for a couple of years. And then at a show I played with Colin, who's in Mustard Plug, he had asked me to join the band. Like, I didn't try out.
Right.
Or it was just kind of, Wack Trucks had played shows with them.
Yeah.
I was friendly with everybody. It was just kind of like a normal
Right.
this should happen. I was friends with
Yeah.
Matt, their bassist at the time, who
Okay.
had also told me like, I'm going to quit.
Yeah. right.
So like, I think that made him more comfortable knowing that I would potentially be interested in doing it.
Yeah.
So I would say probably 2004, 2003, or maybe 2005.
Right.
That's when that happened.
Right. And you were with them for quite a long time. Right?
Almost 20 years.
Damn, that's crazy. Did Cone join pretty soon after that? Did you kind of bring him in?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
okay.
Yeah. So when I joined, they had a drummer named Brad who, when I joined, I was told we're going to tell Brad he should stop being our drummer because he was about to have a kid.
Yeah.
And like financially, it wasn't very smart to be in that band.
Yeah, I mean,
And so my buddy John was going to be the drummer at that point. And then John just kind of did it for a year, but he was in another band that was getting signed to another indie label.
Yeah.
And it was smarter for him to go with that band because like that was his band, you know. And Mustard Plug is Dave and Colin's band.
Right.
You know, like so like you would do that thing versus that. And then that's when we started looking for another drummer. Had like 3 people in mind. Nate was one of them.
right. Nice.
So-
Yeah. And he's still playing
He's still
with them,
there.
right? When did you leave?
So we went to Australia in 2020, barely got back in to the country.
yeah.
And then
Not because of the pandemic, simply because you were Mustard Plug.
yeah.
Just like,
No,
listen,
no,
guys, I
like-
don't know.
So when we were coming back, like Nate was up, like it was like a double decker plane.
Yeah.
And like Nate was upstairs and there was like people that were apparently COVID positive.
Whoa.
And he was like, and this is before anybody knew
Yeah,
anything.
oh yeah.
And Nate was like, no. And I think they bumped him up to like business or first class. But then when we landed in LAX and it was like, oh, this is a problem. Like everybody, like it was like a very extremely long line to get through customs. And it was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is going to be a real big problem. And then like 2 weeks later, everything shut down.
Okay. So no more touring and shit.
No more touring. It was like around like probably September where I got a call from Dave and it was basically like, hey, we're going to have the person that was subbing for me a lot because I was taking other tours.
Yeah.
We're going to have him do the fall. And then I said, well, if it makes sense, maybe Greg should just be the person that is in the band.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just felt like time.
It felt like time and like I probably should have made that call earlier than that. You know, like
Yeah,
I have
I
a
get
hard time quitting things.
Yeah, for sure. I get it. Yeah.
But like it should have been
Right.
a couple years before.
Right. No, yeah. I mean,
Once
put
you
a lot
bail
of
on a
work
few
to-
things, it gets much easier
yeah,
over time.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
you gotta start quitting more things.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, for sure. So backing up, before all that though, you were like, when did you start your studio?
Oh, I would
mean,
say
like-
10 years ago, but I keep getting Facebook notifications of records that I've done, and it's like 16 years ago.
Right, yeah, indeed. 10 years
So,
keeps getting like...
yeah.
Well, was
I
that
think
always in the spot here?
It's
I'm
always in
sure-
the same spot. Yeah.
okay,
So
yeah.
Mustard Plug lived in the house next door.
Okay.
And Jerry, who's an awesome landlord, was like, that house was kind of fucked up. And Jerry was like, I'm going to remodel this house. I'm going to kick you guys out. Because like,
I can't have a ska band living here. Come on.
Well, it was
Come on
more-
in, the exterminators.
so
are-
how they found that house and how they found Jerry was the guy that owns the pyramid scheme, Jeff Vandenberg, rented that house first. And that was in like 91 or 92 or something.
Right.
And Jerry just never changed the rent from like 92.
Okay,
So it was like 4 people living in that house. It was like maybe $220
Right.
split 4 ways.
Yeah.
And so Jerry was like, I'm going to kick you guys out.
Yeah.
And like, not like kick you guys out. It's just
It's
like,
like-
you guys got to go. And we were like trying to figure out where we are going to practice. And Jerry was like, I own the building next door. There's this back space that I could never rent out. Here's how much it costs. It was super cheap in retrospect, but like I was the one that was going to rent it.
Yeah.
And I was sort of freaked out. So I was like, I got gear. I got to put a studio back there to make it work. And then here we are.
And it's a
Still
pretty
there.
primo location now.
It's wild. But when I moved in, it was not. There was like
Ghost Town.
Ghost Town. Nothing was on that block
Yeah.
except rehab clinics. And like the first
Which is good for a studio.
Yeah,
you know, like-
the first session I did there, like a kid had, like the drummer was smoking out back, and a kid had jumped the fence in the back, and like a sawed-off shotgun fell out of his pants.
Jesus Christ.
And like,
Also, how big were those pants?
Jenkins
Jenkins back there.
He's got it in the back. But like that is the story that was told to me. I don't know if like it would like whatever. So he, like the drummer comes in, he's like, this just happened. I was like, did you lock the door? He's like, oh. And I was like, so he locked the door. And then a couple days later, I get a knock on my door. It's the cops. And I was like, here we go.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
noise complaint. And he's like, the cop was like, was there somebody back here with a gun? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, that person is dead.
Holy
He
shit.
had gotten pistol whipped to death. Like, he was like in a gang.
That's a tough way to go. Death by pistol whip
And
is
he's just
unfortunate.
like, I just trying to figure out, did he have a sawed-off shotgun? I was like, yep.
Wow.
And like, he's like, well, here's my card. Like, if you see anything not
Indeed.
normal, just give me a call. It was just like the cop that was patrolling the street.
Sure. You're like,
was
yeah,
like-
if any of those guys want to come in and lay down any tracks, we're open. Open for business.
No. But yeah, it was pretty rough down there. Now it's like Disneyland.
Yeah, it's crazy,
so-
man. All the fucking restaurants and breweries and everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Benefits of being a ska band. The cop took one look. He's like, these are not.
Yeah.
And then we're like,
I was wearing head to toe checker at the time. It was weird that he did that.
how'd you get into the recording stuff initially? Did you record all your old bands like growing up and stuff back in the day? Or like, how'd you fall into that?
Sort of, yeah. So the record after that record by the Wack Trucks, we recorded. Ben, the guitarist, and I did most of the engineering. Ben mixed it. And then like all my solo stuff I would do. And then before I had that studio space, buddies were just like, can you demo this? I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Let's go. And like, we had always had 4 tracks growing up. So it was like, oh yeah, this is a natural.
Did you ever buy some gear off my brother, recording gear at one point?
I don't think so.
Okay. Some reason I thought he sold you guys some ADATs or some shit or something, or back in the day or something.
I don't know.
Josh called him.
That's at my parents' house.
I'm always curious, like, how do you figure out the mechanics of that stuff when you're first starting out? Are you just purely fucking around and trial and error?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
just like, let's see what this does.
I mean, one realizes when something is good or bad, typically.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Or you at least
And
have to
also
make
good
your
and
own.
bad is very subjective.
Yeah, exactly. You have
so-
to choose your own level of what's good or bad to you, like what's acceptable.
You got to do it in real time. So, Matt, you may know Rick Johnson as Rick Johnson, the Mustard Plug guy. I know him as the theremin guy.
Sure.
Really?
He's the first person I ever saw perform with a theremin.
Really?
And actually
Yeah, I
do
love
it
the theremin.
right and make it fun. Because all I've ever heard is noise and garbage from it. But he actually played a theremin and
Should have had you bring
Wow,
it over.
yeah, you should
I got 8
theremin today for sure.
Yeah, you got 8 there.
I got 8 theremins.
Yeah, they got like the big ones. I know they make all kinds of little ones.
The
now.
little ones
Like,
are bullshit. I
yeah.
have a couple of those, but
Yeah.
like you really need 2 antennas to.
I did not know this was a thing. I'm gonna have to. There's been several occasions. I actually just had you know who Josh Barnaby is.
Yeah.
Killing me there, Brian. Turn that off. I had him doing a guitar to try to make it sound like a theremin.
Sure.
Just a couple months ago on something. So
Okay.
I would've
All you
learned
gotta
to
do
sing.
is hit the delay pedal.
Yeah.
And then just get it into self oscillation. And then
Yeah.
just tune it with the.
It worked.
With the
I
tone.
don't know. He did whatever the fuck he was doing and it worked out. But
Yeah. So the left hand there is the volume. The right hand is the.
Apparently, I've been
pitch.
training to play the theremin my entire life as I'm watching this here.
yeah, that's awesome. So you play the theremin. I remember last time we talked, which is like a long ass time ago now, you were talking about your solo shows and stuff. You had like just got back from like Chicago or something, but
Sure.
I don't really know about the solo stuff. So like what kind of stuff is it like?
Oh, it's basically was just me and a computer, and
Okay.
it was like trying to sound. There's a band, like an early punk band. Hold on,
I lost him. I lost him to this. He's listening to Joe Rogan now.
No. I'm answering.
Rogan Boost.
I'm answering a work text. Sorry.
That's okay. The Dangerville podcast here is nothing but misinformation and work texts. So
So there's. I work at the club pyramid scheme, and
Yeah.
I'm like the tech that knows how to fix everything.
Yeah.
And I just got a text that said,
Our PA is on fire. We need you here immediately.
"No, does changing fuses require a drill as a screwdriver?"
require? Interesting.
I said changing fuses.
No, but it's a
to
good
what?"
idea.
And then my buddy wrote, "I don't know."
Wow,
That would seem to be an issue. If,
a real brain trust of electronic gurus over here at the pyramid scheme.
Oh, it's for.
Let's go. My buddy, I have a friend of mine, Craig, who his cousin is named Anthony, who is the original founding bass player.
Oh yeah, Vilches.
Yes.
Anthony Vilches.
So Craig's cousin is Anthony Vilches. I ended up buying his bass cab.
Is it a 115?
Yes,
And it has
I
mustard
bought the
plugs?
115 with the mustard
Did you
plug.
buy it off eBay?
No, I bought it from Craig personally because he knows. He put it on eBay and it didn't sell.
Yeah, because I was going to buy it and it had been listed for $1.
Yeah,
And then I couldn't do it because nobody was buying it because it's just like a homemade cab, right?
yeah. There's a homemade 115. He had a regular 410 and then like a racked just bass head, but it was the 115, the custom cab that I liked. Sean Lee ended up stealing it from me, so I
that
don't
adds
know
up.
where it is. It's somewhere in the general Muskegon music community, but it was one of my pride and joys because I bought the original mustard plug bass, the whole stack, the whole
Was it spray painted mustard plug?
I bought
on it?
the, bought the
it's
whole
got like a
stack.
silk screen on the back of
No.
I
it.
bought the whole
Nice.
stack and the Rickenbacker bass.
Hell
You got
yeah.
the red one?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Craig has it.
Whoa.
He had it. I don't know if he still does. I think he still does actually in his basement.
Sick.
Yep. So he still got the red Rickenbacker.
Nice. All kinds of mustard plug lore over here.
Yeah. Well,
From
Craig
beat up.
I told Craig that you're going to be on. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, he just did sound for Jeff Rosenstock.
Rosenstock, yeah.
Rosenstock. And he's all hyped up and he's like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm like, who is this Jeff guy you keep talking about? I don't get it. But so I don't mean to steal your thunder, but it is exciting for me because Mustard Plug and Wack Trucks were some of those punk bands, and I'm more of a punk guy, unlike Ross and Matt, who are more
smug.
they had a whole 3-hour Dream Theater podcast that I graciously got to sit through.
Not
So
fucking with that, man.
Hey, I'm all over the road musically. This is well known, but I do like some.
we had to pry the gun out of B-Dub's mouth in about hour 4.
hey, it wasn't
Dream
that bad. It
Theater
wasn't that
episode.
bad. Dream Theater is still enjoyable, bros. I will admit that. It's just
To a
my
point.
attention span is very short. That's why I like the punk rock music because I have the ADD stuffs. So I like if it's more than 2 minutes, I'm walking away doing something else potentially.
I just like for me. I just like drummers. So it's like a lot of prog bands have amazing drummers. So it's like
Yeah,
and
true.
like a lot of these guys. Like, do you know who like Steven Wilson is? Porcupine Tree and all this. So Porcupine Tree is this band. I mean, they're a huge fucking band. They've got one of the best drummers in the world.
Like in prog rock, they're one of the hottest bands.
Yeah, they've been huge for 30 years or something. So
Really?
this dude, he's got one of the best drummers in the world. Okay, Gavin Harrison. The main dude goes off and starts making solo records, right? And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. But it turns out I don't really care at all about that. I just like the drummer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You gotta have
it's
Gavin.
Like, yeah, dude.
I got
This guy's
super
fucking-
into that Pineapple Thief stuff for a while for
that's
the
just
same
amazing,
reason.
too.
It's like, oh, it's shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's Gavin Harrison here. We need to take a break. You need to handle this.
No, it's cool.
Okay.
I can multitask. This is not a deal breaker.
You'd appreciate Gavin Harrison, honestly.
I
Just
don't think so.
The technicality.
It's too many
of it.
toms.
He's
is
insane.
that 4 toms? 5 toms?
He's probably got the 5 times. Yeah.
That's 4 too many toms. My favorite drum setup.
2 top.
No. 4 tom, snare, kick drum,
Okay.
hi-hat.
That's fun too.
Done.
I like all that shit. Yeah. But we're drum nerds. So
Sure.
I'm a drum
I
nerd.
gotta have at least one big crash.
You got a hi-hat, just open it
Yeah.
up.
Nah, it's just not loud enough for me.
Did you see my drum set down there? It's not too different from this.
Too many toms.
Too many. I know. I get that a lot. Yeah. All right, you can kill that. Sarah watches this fucking guy play.
Wait, so is he just doing a clinic?
This video, yes.
Okay,
And
okay.
so
In
there's a lot
fairness,
of
every
people-
time he plays,
There's a
put
lot
down
of
the
people at that clinic.
Yeah, he's literally one of like the top 3 drummers in the world. This fucking guy, he's insane.
Porcupine Tree, right?
That's one of his several.
Didn't get that Primus.
He was
call,
just
though.
he played like for the last couple of years of like King Crimson and like I mean like he's fucking major. But yeah, Porcupine Tree is one of the big things. But yeah, that dude's just fucking insane. Even if it's not your jam, you got to appreciate the technicality of it. That's what I say. There's things that I'm like, not my jam, but I'm like, I know it's really good. I can't do it, So like,
Right.
like you're saying, like going to fucking see White Zombie or whatever, like
Sure.
it might not be your fucking thing, but it's still like, yeah. It's funny talking about that show too, because like, that was my first concert and it was the Ramones, and like there's a lot of people I know that are like, you fucking got to see the Ramones, and they're like
didn't
mad
care.
at me,
You didn't care,
at the
did you?
time I didn't care because I was in the 6th grade, dude. I didn't fucking know, you know what I mean? So we were just like, what the fuck is this? Or I was anyway, but I was there with like Bill Norkus and like, and they were like
Sure.
super into Rick, the Beams and those fucking dudes. So it was good times. Do I need to take this call?
No.
From the pyramid scheme here?
No.
I need to tell these guys?
No. Sorry.
Like, the building is literally on fire. I blew the fuse. Things have gone bad.
So getting back to White Zombie.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk more about all the drummers you hate.
There's many.
Yeah, indeed. I bet.
I like drummers that like. I'm not like Bonham, but like have like a groove that's not like
me too, for
not
sure.
too like I don't like like that's too much going on.
Yeah.
I like drummers who hit the drums hard.
Me too.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
a big
I
part.
like
of it, too.
hardcore rough play drumming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
it's great.
But like I don't like, to me, like you gotta have tempo and shit too. Like I don't like slop though.
Ross,
like,
who's the guy from Queens of the Stone Age? Because he might be my personal favorite
the
right
guy that
now.
plays now
Currently, the current guy is pretty dope.
That was the guy from the Mars Volta.
Is he?
John
Okay.
Theodore.
Okay, yeah, because I like him. He hits the drums real hard.
Yeah, he's like the first 4 Mars Volta records, dude.
There's
Yeah,
a
he's pretty
time and a
dope.
place for everything. Like ultimately, if it works, it works, right? Like
Yeah,
there's
that's a
not
good
a
point.
set
That's a good point.
formula. Like sometimes you got to be groovy. Sometimes you got to get the fuck after it. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
but
sure.
You always
I
gotta
will
hit hard,
argue, Ross. I think maybe you agree with me on this. I would argue that rock music. Most people might say rock music is guitar focused, but I actually think rock music doesn't exist without the modern drum set. The big band drum set that came out of the 50s, that type of thing, that rock music and metal music wouldn't exist. Because to me, I can play guitar in a room with my buddies. It's not rock music.
Yeah, you could play bluegrass or something.
I can play a bass. I can play drums by myself, but it's it's when you add those drums into
the two, the 1 and 3 or the backbeat kind of thing or whatever on the drums, I guess, probably.
I mean, my point that I'm trying to make eloquently, not so eloquently, is that drums are the most important instrument in general rock music. More important than the actual guitar itself.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that say that the sound of a snare drum on the recording is the most important sound, even more important than like the vocal sound of like the character of a recording. You ever heard that?
Sure.
Okay.
I would say that the song is the most important part of everything. You could have a horrible sounding record, but if the song's good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all a stew, man. Like the stew, as long as it tastes good at the end of the day, the ingredients kind of don't matter.
Little at that.
Gotta have it all, baby.
All right, let's go back to. I want to hear about what is your solo work like? You said it's you and a computer.
It's me and a computer, and there's a band from LA or San Pedro, California called the Minutemen.
Okay,
who's like part of the first like 4 like LA like SST Records, which was Black Flag's record label. They were the second release on SST Records.
Gotcha.
So they played super short songs, but like super angular and like interesting. It was basically trying to do that through the lens of Devo.
Yeah. Okay. So I love Devo.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I got to see Devo live at Lollapalooza in 1997.
I was also at that show.
Yeah, right after Tool.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg also.
Yep. Who Snoop and Tool are still 2 of my favorite artists of all time. So
cool.
Yeah.
A lesser man would make a solo work on a computer Minuteman joke, but not this guy. I'm simply rising above it right now.
That was that show. Were you there? Did you see Failure play like the main stage there? Because Korn was the other headliner, but dude had broke his arm or some shit.
Wasn't it Metallica also?
No, well, not this one. It was so this was like 90. I want to say 97. It was at Valdu Lakes, right? Korn dude had broke his arm or some shit, so the Korn was off. So they bumped everything back and they moved Failure to the main stage. And they played first on the main stage at like whatever noon or whatever. You know what I mean? And there was like 12 people there.
Sure.
Like, and we were there. It was like, me and my brother again and whatever, like watching fucking Failure, like just going, yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen Failure once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was at Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah, I was there for that.
They weren't very nice to me.
No? Were you running sound?
No, they had their own people.
I'm sure. Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
That's a band of that size has their own people.
Yeah, Ken Andrews is definitely a bit of a sound snob, I would think. So.
Yeah, it was real weird. It was the dynamics of that band seemed real weird to me. I think that was the bigger thing. I don't think anybody really likes that drummer.
Oh, that Kelly Scott, I think his name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
the guitarist and the Ken Andrews both were like being real mean to that guy too.
That's weird. It is weird.
It was a weird vibe.
Yeah. But that other dude plays in like Maynard's acts and stuff. His other like
but if you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody.
It's like fuck this guy. That's hilarious, man. Yeah, I dig it. I like some fucking Failure. Pretty big fan. Were you at that Shiner show the other night? Were you running?
I did not work that Shiner show.
Damn. I missed it. I would have liked to have seen it.
I was supposed to work the first time they were supposed to be there.
And that's when I was like gonna go, and then it like got postponed like 4 fucking times.
Yeah,
and I was like, I couldn't get there the other night.
Perfect storm of every time.
Seriously, yeah, that'd have been fucking sweet though. Who like are your like influences, if there is such a thing? Like, I mean, who did you really get into and start navigating or gravitating toward playing wise?
Are you talking like band stuff?
Yeah,
or like bass players?
Yeah, what influenced you? Like, what did you fucking get down on way back?
So, like, top 5 bands of my life, we'll say the Minutemen, Devo, Talking Heads,
nice,
The Clash, and this band called the Dead Milkmen.
Okay.
So, like, that was the stuff. I think we had a wildly different musical influence growing up.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't have taken you for such a Devo fan, though. I wouldn't have really picked up on that.
Sure. Yeah, like, so, like, me and Ben from Wack Trucks were real disciples of, like, 120 Minutes. So, like, a lot of that stuff, or
Right.
like and his older brother and their friends.
Right.
One of their friends is the singer for Wack Trucks. Like it was like pushing. It was like, I don't have a big brother, but it was like a real big brother like,
Right.
pushing us into like pretty hard, like, you know, like Matador Records, like stuff like that.
Right.
You know, like John Spencer Blues Explosion, all
Yeah.
that stuff, like kind of weird left of center
Yeah,
rock and roll.
indeed.
So
So that's the kind of shit you're still listening to now. Like, what's weird?
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, do you feel like as you've gotten older that it's harder to like get into bands or like find stuff that you love or anything? Or?
no, because I'm on tour all the time,
Yeah.
and then a couple of the bands I work for bring younger bands on tour,
Yeah,
and like I get exposed to that. I'm always trying to find new shit
yeah.
too.
That's what's
So-
important. That's what I have to make the effort. You know, like you like gotta like seek it out. You know,
Sure, but
I
that's
think.
when you stop doing that. That's when you get old.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you gotta like make that fucking conscious decision to like.
And then also working downtown at the Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah,
is
you'll
like
see.
hell.
Yeah, you'll see fucking all
yeah.
kinds of shit coming up through there.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
And I don't get there. I don't get to anything as much as I'd like anymore because it's fucking day job. You know,
Right.
like it's hard to like go out on a Tuesday night and like because there's no way I'm not gonna drink and like that's me. So it's like I'm not gonna get there. You know, that was even that Shiner show the other night. It was just like.
Because it got moved to a Sunday.
Yeah, it was like it was like a Sunday, and like I knew I had to be at work really early, and I'm just
Yeah.
like fuck, like, and because like two of my friends' bands were the opening bands,
Sure,
you know, like I
sure.
know like 4 people on that bill, and I was like, man, I really wanted to go, but like I just couldn't fucking get there. So, but those guys were always I loved Shiner, you know, a lot.
Yeah,
back in the
they're
day.
wildly underappreciated.
Yeah, and I heard that they were great.
They're always
You know,
great.
yeah.
Like even
Yep.
Al's band, Life and Times.
Okay.
It's also great too.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Which
like, nobody-
which Shiner, like, is that like Diet Creed?
No. Shiner is like, they're kind of like, I would say one of the kind of like, they're not really space rock, but they were kind of in that with Failure and like Hum to me, and that same
Like
like,
Space Hog?
no, not really. They're a little harder. They're like an I don't know, indie alternative hard rock kind of
Yeah.
kick-ass band from the fucking
Humphreys McGee?
90s, dude. No. What are you talking about, dude? What the fuck are you saying?
I don't know, I'm lost. I'm
Do they have some
sorry.
Garth Brooks type
No, not at
vibes?
all.
Yeah, they have Garth Brooks, no fences or
Motorhead
not,
feel?
dude.
No, they're just the fucking rock band, dude. Fucking kick-ass rock from the 90s, dude. That shit just
Sure.
like doesn't like exist like that anymore in a way or something.
That's true.
Like I came up, I still love like Sunny Day Real Estate. You know, it's just like to me, it was just the fucking ultimate.
Yeah, I
fucking,
never got into that.
No,
band.
yeah,
Really? No,
yeah.
he's not an emo guy?
I'm not.
I'm shocked, actually.
Emo guy. I missed that.
No emo,
What about like
more
what about
Devo.
Hum? Did you like Hum?
It seems cool. I mean that's not my bag.
Yeah, okay. Too like alternative, too rock, not punk enough.
Not quite Devo enough.
Yeah, not quite
really,
Devo.
to scratch the necessary
structured
itch at
enough.
the end
Well,
of the day.
Devo's really got a lot of melodic and shit. I mean,
Sure,
there's
sure,
songs,
yeah, sure.
you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, yeah.
How about these guys?
Oh yeah, I love Pup.
There we go. All right.
I've turned.
I knew you would like Pup. I was
I've
like,
turned down 2 jobs working for Pup in the past year.
really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So fuck them, dude.
No, dude, they're-
One, my dog needed a knee surgery, and I miscalculated how long.
That's a
there was-
sweet turn of irony right
Yeah,
there.
freaking
Turning down
Pup.
Pup for a dog.
Dude,
racer.
I know you guys
That's,
don't know this, but Pup is one of the hottest, hardest working punk bands that exists that doesn't get recognition. And
really pandering with that
dude,
Pup shirt
yeah,
over there.
dude, some-
Did you wear that just to specifically talk to me?
Oh,
about
without
Pup?
question.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Meetup's worn nothing but the same Dungeons and Dragons
yes,
and
amazing.
Lord of the Rings.
Usually wear Dungeons and
t-shirts every
Dragons or Lord of the
episode, dude.
Rings, but when I
Yeah.
know that I have someone that might appreciate one of my
Sick.
random garbage band T-shirts, I wear them.
Yeah, I went to Steve, the guitarist, bachelor party.
Very cool.
Damn, hell yeah.
Nice.
Well, I tell you what, it's probably time. Let's take a little break, and then I want to talk a little more about what you're doing now
Sure.
and where your career's going now and stuff, and then we can talk a little more shit. And
Sounds good.
We'll see if we can put out the fire here at the Pyramid Scheme.
Oh,
too.
it's out. It's out.
We've burned it down. Wow, going
No,
not even
what is
getting-
this?
So lazy, not even
I'm
using
feet
the
up
actual
right now.
clap.
All this equipment, all this
I felt
equipment.
important when you use the clap.
Yeah,
I know.
that was the weakest clack of all time, dude.
My berets left in the car still. It's a real half-assed effort on my part tonight.
So, what the fuck are you up to now? Are you doing sound for bands and shit?
I'm doing a lot of touring front of house work for people. Also tour managing bands.
Nice.
Plus the studio stuff.
Yeah.
Plus Pyramid Scheme.
Right.
Plus playing shows every once in a while.
Who are you playing with?
Wack Trucks has a show coming up. I'm also in a band with my buddy Dan called Sharkanoid,
Nice.
which is very sporadic. That we do stuff. He lives in California, so if we make a record, we just send tapes back and forth, and then just make the record. Did a couple tours,
That's fun.
and then I have solo stuff in the works. But the problem with all of this is that as an adult, it's hard.
You have to pay rent
to decide that I'm going to not make money for basically what is a vanity project. But my normal job is rock and roll, so it's a weird situation where I'm deciding which rock and roll is more important.
It's a dill of a pickle, my friend.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What's the deal with tour managing bands? I've not heard anyone doing this before. Like I know what it is, obviously, but like we've not had anyone on here, to my knowledge, that has done that. Like, what is that a nightmare? I got to imagine there are some scenarios where you got some knuckleheads, you're trying to coordinate all that shit. Like,
it's not.
Do you give them crack?
I do not get them crack.
You've got Omar like people cracked
I
out.
have not dealt with an Omar like person. I basically only tour manage for one band. Right now, and like a lot of times if I get like a cold call touring front of house gig, it also you have to tour manage because nobody has budgets for this stuff anymore.
Right.
So basically it's just like you advance the show, you make sure this is when we arrive, let them know what your stuff is, then you settle the show, and then depending on what you have, if the band has a manager or if they don't, sometimes you have to book hotels, or sometimes they have a travel agent. Each time you have to do that gig, it's different.
Okay.
Just depends on how many hookers you got to get.
Sure. Sure. I mean, one of the main band that I tour manage.
The ska bands are big with the hookers, guys. I don't know if you guys know this.
The main band that I tour manage the most, how I got that job was the person that had the job before me. Typically with that band, you settle the show, you give the singer, who's the manager, the check for the show, and you settle out merch for the show. The person before me was like, can I give you this money tomorrow? And he went out and got hookers.
Of course he did.
And the singer was like, what the fuck? And he didn't pay for it with the money the band had made, but that was on him. And it's just that's not responsible.
Do you got Tony Soprano on his ass? Just full baton to the knee, Tanya Harding
it was
style?
just basically the way that organization works, it was basically oh, we're going to finish this tour. At the end of it, I think the singer who was paying everybody was like, you're not getting paid as much as you were supposed to because you fucked up. And then I've been with them basically ever since then.
So you're the hooker guy now.
Everybody in that band's a teacher. A professional. And for the most part, they just do it to pay for their kids' school. So it's a pretty sweet gig.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So
what band is this though?
That band is Streetlight.
It's Devo.
Yeah, it's Devo. It's Streetlight Manifesto. I turned down a Devo gig.
What?
As they needed a keyboard tech and Pro Tools operator, and I turned it down.
Why?
The way it was described to me was, you have to operate a Pro Tools rig, which is both recording and playback.
Yeah.
And they tour with 4 mini Moogs.
Okay. Yeah.
2 are on stage at all time, and every show, at least one of them will break.
Yeah.
And Mark will yell at you about it breaking. But it's just
that's your job. I got you.
Yeah, I was just like, no. Like if it's a known thing that happens, that is. I can't deal with
Yeah,
that.
you don't want him yelling at you on stage.
No. I was just like, I'm good. But then,
That's my amp, Ross.
is that
it?
The dual rec into the orange amp. Although
I think they're in Russia in this video, though. So that is like a backline in Russia. That bass player is insane. He is so good.
I didn't know they had multiple vocals. I've heard a few songs from this band though.
Yeah.
Is that your literal amp, or are you just saying that's the same like amp you got?
I'm just trying to make the podcast all about me from behind the
Is
desk.
that a dual rec?
Yeah. It's a sweet amp.
Actually, it's a Tremo Verb.
It's the Tremo Verb.
How do
What's
you
a
tell?
rectifier?
I bought a Tremo Verb that came from a studio that was used in the 90s in LA for 10 years.
But how do you know that Mesa is a tremolo verb?
I just know it's a dual rec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a
It's
record.
beat
So
up
Tremo
six,
Tremo
maybe
Verb
even
is just a dual rec
sense
with a
telling.
tremolo because
Oh,
You know.
see, I hate those amps. I have a Mesa, but
I usually don't like them, but I like my Tremo Verb because
Yeah.
it's
It's a
warmer.
nice amp.
Ross recorded part of a Holloway album with it, and he's like,
Oh, cool.
I don't
It's a
know if I
sweet
can
amp.
give you this
It's a sweet
back,
amp.
and I'm
It
like,
is.
you have to give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a Mesa Mark
Yeah.
II.
Right.
Well, I guess technically it's mine.
Best American amps.
Yeah. It depends. It depends on what you're doing.
For my budget.
So but my Mesa's like 300 watts.
Yeah.
Why?
Why
though?
I don't know.
Why
though? Ben from Wack Trucks, we were looking like he was playing a jazz chorus because they were a full.
I mean, they do what they do, right?
I love
They do
jazz
what
choruses.
they
I
do.
got one.
They do what they do.
Shockingly, I kind of like the distortion on it.
It's different.
It's a thing.
I didn't even know it had distortion.
It does. It is very specific.
I almost
and
bought one.
It's very
Motor City.
crunchy.
Yeah.
It's very crunchy.
Yeah.
It's very digital crunch, like to an extreme where it's almost
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. So he was playing through a jazz chorus, like not a JC 120, but like a JC 90, which is the
Yeah.
10 version.
Right.
And then we were just like looking. At Elderly, I found this amp. It was a Mesa. It's a Mark II, so it's kind of what they used on the Blue album.
Yeah.
But it's technically it's called a Coliseum 300.
Oh, okay.
So it's got 6 6L6s. So it's 300 watts. You can have it. So it's 150
Yeah.
watts.
Oh my
too.
God, look at this thing.
300 watts
Are
of
you,
glory, baby.
it's and I shit you not. Every
Oh, yeah.
no, that's not it. That's a Mark II.
That's the John Petrucci model.
Yeah, yeah. You
Okay,
gotta-
that's close. But if anyone's wondering, that's close to what
That's
it looks
not-
like. But
No.
Look up.
This is like he took like
Vintage-
several of those amps.
Yeah,
and
vintage
combined them.
Mark II
Yeah. Okay.
or Mark III.
Yeah, the C plus or whatever.
which it's a Coliseum 300. Right?
Yeah. But like every 6 months, somebody will message me because that's listed on my studio, and it will be like some guy will be like, "You want to sell that?" I'm like, no. And then
Yeah.
somebody messaged me about it. He's like, "Are you looking to sell this?" I was like, "No." And that person worked for Dwight Yoakam,
Wow.
and
weird.
he's like, "This is Dwight's favorite amp. We were
Weird.
trying to acquire all of them." I was like, no.
Well, then definitely no.
No, I mean, he seems cool.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with Dwight Yoakam, but just one guy
That's
shouldn't have
not
the
it
fucking
either.
monopoly.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, if you pull up like
You don't
a
want
Mark,
Yoakam's people on your ass. I haven't said
like
that.
a
That's
Mesa
bad
Mark
news.
III.
Yeah.
A Mark III.
Yeah.
Do you got any decent Marshalls? That's the one thing I don't really have.
I have.
I mean, the JCM 900 is
I
a
have
nice one, but
I have a Red Bear. Oh, go up, left. There. It's that.
Interesting. That just looks like the regular fucking
Yeah, it's a.
C plus or whatever. I don't know. I'm not an expert on some of those.
How much? $5,499. We bought it for $300.
Damn.
So I have a Red Bear, which is 800 clone, the Russian 800 clone.
Okay.
I also have 2 Softac MiG.
Yeah.
I have a MiG 60, which is kind of like a Plexi, I guess.
Yeah.
And
What's
then
it-
I have a.
oh my God, I've seen those before.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
Oh,
those,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
So my
me
buddy
too.
Alex
Right there.
texted me.
That's
He's like, I'm at a
awesome.
garage sale.
I'd buy that amp for sure.
He's like, they got a Red Bear with a cab, and they want $300 for both of it. I was like, "Are you still there?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'll give you the $300." I was on tour, and he got it. He's like, "What do you want to do? Do you want me to hold on to it?" I'm like, "Just throw it in my bathroom." Because he knew how to get into the studio. He just threw it in the bathroom.
This is my dream amp.
Oh yeah,
that's my dream.
Sick.
Yeah, cool.
I will never own a green.
Why?
Do you fuck with those Mata amps?
I think Mata amp bought them.
Yeah,
I don't know what those are either.
I also have a Softtech Midget 50.
Are those the ones you were saying you just got from your buddy? He found a bunch or something. You were fixing them.
No, those are. My buddy had a bunch of Music Man amps.
Oh, okay.
So he had a bunch of HD 130s and HD 60s.
Yes, I would love a fucking Softtech in the fucking.
Just get a Epiphone Valve Junior.
So yeah, I have the
get a Valve Junior, dude.
It's gotta say Softtech.
I have the one in the wood case.
Nice.
And then my MiG 60 I have is a prototype.
That's beautiful, dude. That's sexy.
Yeah, it doesn't have the badge on it. That's kind of a bummer.
Oh yeah, it is. That's the whole point. I don't even care if it works. I just want it to sit down there and look cool.
I know.
It looks super cool.
That's my MO, dude. In case you haven't noticed, it's got to look cool.
But yeah, the MiG 60 I have is a prototype, so it doesn't look like a regular MiG 60. So it could also be a bootleg.
I mean, you can't have all these sweet ass amps without some sweet ass guitars, bro.
I got a lot of guitars too.
All right, let's hear them. Let's hear it. Undress for us, please.
I own like 50 guitars.
Oh my God.
It's the beauty of somebody I was talking to about this was like, how do you have all this stuff? I was like, I don't have kids. I'm like 45 years old. I don't have kids. So it's like, what am I going to spend my money on?
I think I'm up to 22 guitars or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, most of them were there. All the Gibsons were yonder here. You know,
sick.
I started building guitars. I got really into that, and they, most of those are Fender style. You know, Jazz Masters, different kind of shit like that, which I love. You know.
Yeah, we somebody I work for has a deal with Fender, so like we can get either Squires for like super cheap or like Fenders for super cheap.
Yeah.
But like
hot rod them up a little if you want or whatever.
Yeah, so I have a couple. I have a Jag and I have a Jazz Master. I put like masteries on.
Yeah,
and I have a Bass 6 that I also put a mastery on. Right. But it's just like Squire is putting out like wackadoo stuff.
Yeah,
where it's like
and Squire's quality's going way up too.
I was like, I want a 12 string. I don't want a Rick 12 string because you can't play them.
Yeah.
Squire makes his Jazz Master. And I can get it for $150. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like I've been talking about this for a little while. In the last even almost the last 10 years, like the quality of guitars, in my opinion, has gone way up. So back in the day, it would be like if you had a shitty guitar, it was like you couldn't even play it. Right. And now it's like any guitar, like it may not be the best guitar ever, but it's a guitar and you can play it.
Well, Ross, China figured out how to make American guitars. That's what it was. Sure. China finally figured out how to make them.
Well, most of those are Indonesian.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so? Okay. I know a lot are Chinese, but maybe they're manufactured in China or something.
Well, there's all the Epiphone factories over there that are no longer Epiphone factories, but they're still just making, Gibsons and whatever.
Like in maybe 13 years ago, I went to China on a trip with my partner and my grandfather because my cousin was working for Fastenal. Do you know what Fastenal is?
I do. Yep.
Yeah, they make they don't make fasteners. They're the middleman for the fasteners.
I do know what they are, and I know other people that have worked for them.
And so my cousin was basically just doing business with the Chinese factory that is making the fasteners. And so we were there for 2.5 weeks, and it was insane because I learned all this stuff that I think is counterfeit is just the real thing. They're just keeping the factory open longer.
Yep.
White label, baby.
Yeah. So I'm like, whoa. I'll buy from Alibaba now.
For sure, dude.
I'll buy this thing that is definitely the same thing.
Yeah, I bought a fake Gibson off of one of those things. This is a while ago now.
Sure.
And it was my backup guitar, but I swapped out all the hardware on it and the pickups. and it was
Does it say Gibson on the headstock?
yeah, but it was hilarious because it had like it's a little different, you know.
Sure,
but
sure.
the back, you know, the sticker that's on like the back piece of plastic, the plate, the electronics plate on the back.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy a new Gibson, there's a sticker on that plate, you know, that you're supposed to take off. But the English on there was so hilariously
Sure.
bad, and so like I left it on there because it was so fucking funny to me how like terrible
Amazing.
broken like English it was, or whatever.
I really want they sell a Dan Armstrong clone.
Okay.
like
Yeah.
one of those lucite clear guitars.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
want to get one of
Yeah,
those,
those are
and I
sweet.
just keep
Yeah.
not doing it. They're
Yeah.
like $300. I should
Indeed,
just do it.
Indeed. But yeah, once I swapped everything out and set it up, it was great.
Sure.
You know, it really was great. I ended up selling it to my cousin,
that
and I
one.
was kind of like, damn it,
Not that
wish I'd
one.
have kept it.
The Telly or the SG?
No,
Which one?
Look up Dan Armstrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like one of those acrylic guitars. I literally don't have any more room for guitars.
Sure,
I have nowhere
sure.
else to put them anymore. Like
Sure.
I'm maxed out on like
You got to get a space.
physical stand.
You can put some on the wall over here.
I know. I was thinking wall racks or something. I want to get one of those like double racks or something. You know?
Yeah, it's that. 266.19. Get out of those LED dots though.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
too
not a fan
much.
of that. With guitars, I'm pretty like I'm kind of a little bit of a
I
purist.
like
don't
that
like
it
modern
says
shit too
Dan
much.
Armstrong on it. What site is this? Timu?
Yep. It's kind of cool.
Timu's where you get the cheapest cheap in the entire planet.
Yeah.
I gotta do it.
Nah,
before-
don't go to AliExpress, dude. Go to Timu.
I
Just
built
do not install the Timu app on your phone.
yeah.
Why not?
They're
It
tracking you.
literally scrapes 100% of your phone data, 100% of it.
What, I don't know what that means.
It means they steal
It steals all
shit.
your passwords, and they can sell them on the dark web or do whatever they want with all your encrypted information on your phone.
So, why? What are they gonna do with it?
They're going to sell it because data is
Sell your
more
guitars.
important.
They're gonna sell it. Okay.
Do I have to explain how data is more important than money these days?
No, I understand that. It's just funny that like for a normal like somebody that would go and install the Timu app, like just like a normal ass person. Like what?
It's not fair, bro.
What are they gonna steal?
South Park did a
Yeah.
whole episode about terms and services where they ended up having to be a human centipede and eat the cuttlefish, dude.
Yeah,
all
I've
because
seen
of the terms and services. It's not, the world is not really designed for the common man right now.
Sure.
So let's rein it back in a little bit here, though. I want to talk about your studio a little bit before we fucking cut you loose here a little bit. Are you still? When I was there like 10 years ago trying
Sure.
to record some vocals terribly
I
at the
remember.
time. Do you remember? That was a bad time for me. Not there.
Sure,
it was a
sure.
bad time for me in my musical career. I was struggling with
Couldn't
things
tell.
or whatever. Yeah, right.
No, couldn't.
Which, well, I appreciate you having me. I came over and tried to track some vocals
Sure.
or whatever, and it was a good time. And I think we did some stuff, and it was okay. And then we sat there and talked shit about fucking Black Sabbath and stuff for a long
Sure.
time, is what I
Makes
remember.
sense.
But yeah, were you recording to tape though? It would have been Pro Tools, but I remember you had like tape machines and shit.
I
going
still
in there.
have that.
And like a pretty substantial board, didn't you have like an actual?
Yeah.
Are you still rocking that stuff, or are you like going more like in the
10
box now and shit, or like?
So 10 years ago, I didn't. So I have a 2-inch machine, like a 2-inch 24
You
track
and me both,
machine.
brother.
And then the console that I have is a Neotech Series 3.
Okay.
Right now, I'm dealing with some clients that are a little slow, so I'm not mixing to the console, which is my preference.
Okay.
I have a Neve summing amp, like summing mixer
Sure.
that I'm summing to, and then so I'm mixing hybrid.
Yeah. Okay.
Is my preference.
Right.
My preference is to do it on the console, but
Yeah.
it seems that people are not fast enough.
Yeah.
And they want recalls.
And they want, which is like fucking impossible. Yeah.
And so, and I can mix hybrid to the console, but it doesn't recall 100%.
Yeah.
Just because like the fader is moved slightly,
Right.
like,
yeah.
like, so it's harder to recall that. Like I have to recall a mix from like 2 years ago to fix something for somebody, and I'm kind of dreading it.
That's too much. 2 years ago, like,
I understand why they're trying to do it. It's slightly annoying.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Are you like taking notes and shit, taking pictures with your phone
take photos?
Yeah.
Like, so before I bought the Neve Summing, I would kind of pick and choose if I caught the vibe that they were going to be pickier.
Yeah.
Like I would decide how I would mix to the console.
Okay, that's smart. Yeah.
Because like I was just summing to the console, and then if the client, I was like, oh, they're not gonna. This is not gonna go well as far as like recalls or whatever.
Yeah.
I would not insert anything on the inserts. It would just be, like everything stemmed out, and then I would have a mix bus chain going through that. But
do you
again,
have
that would not recall
right
correctly.
Do you
either.
have quite a lot of other outboard gear that you're inserting shit, compressors and all that kind of shit?
All that.
Yeah.
You should come over.
I've seen
different.
pictures.
It's a little bit different than when you were over last.
I've seen pictures that Addison showed me, the kind of shit you guys are doing. I was going to try to get both you guys here on the podcast together, but we could do that some other time.
Sure. Let's go.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait. Cold War Studios is with Addison Ehlers?
Well, it's his studio.
It's my studio.
Addison's
Addison's been
working out of there.
freelancing out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Addison recorded the last album I did.
Oh.
Yeah, that would have been back in Muskegon, though.
Yeah, that was back when he was living in Northern Shores when he was first getting started. I was one of the first bands he did.
Sick. Yeah.
And then we recorded a bunch of tracks, and then he kicked me out after we smoked weed because he had to jack off. And he's like, you don't want to be here for this. Yeah, he's like, you don't want to be here for this. And then he put a girl on TV that was pleasuring herself. He's like, you should really leave. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I think I'm going to go.
Wow.
Amazing.
All right.
He's a strange individual, but I love him.
Yeah. I met
He's
him
a good
because I
dude.
bought a bass cab off of him when he was living in Austin.
Oh, random.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He was selling it in Muskegon. So I bought it from his father-in-law.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
we met down the road. I was like, I bought that bass cab from you.
Nice.
They just had his brother on the Metal Maniacs.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to the podcast.
Yeah,
Shout out to Big Brother.
He just put out a crazy
The
metal
skateboard
EP. I
magazine?
listened to it.
It's a podcast.
No. You said shout out to Big Brother. And then I...
Oh, okay.
No, I'm making a joke how Metal Maniacs is our Big Brother.
So do you do the Metal Maniacs podcast?
No, they're good friends of ours,
okay.
though. Yeah.
So no, Ross and Matt have been on there. They've been on our podcast. So
Sick.
I played music with Nick for a while.
Okay.
So we've known those
we
guys
go
for a
way
long
back with
time.
all those dudes. They're all Fruitport guys.
Fruitport
All
homies.
Yeah. So did you go to Fruitport or did you? Okay.
Yep, Fruitport. Me and him both went to Fruitport. So
Okay.
did my brother, who was
Yeah.
years.
How's your
4 years
brother
ago.
doing?
He's good, man. He's basically totally retired from music,
Sure.
But yeah, he's just fucking.
Yeah, I haven't seen your brother in so long.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, he's working.
Potentially, the last time I saw your brother, I borrowed a trailer indefinitely from him. And then he was like, hey, man, I need to get that back. I was like, oh, okay.
What was it? His little like the band trailer that used to yeah. That trailer I think still exists.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's like up at we got a little cabin up north. I think it's up there. It has a hum sticker on the back
Yep.
and that's the one.
Well,
that's
it doesn't have a hum sticker. It was called.
It says Hulk on the back or
It
something.
was because it was the Hallmark.
Yeah,
brand.
Hall. Yeah, that's right.
Hallmark.
Something like that. Yeah.
There's a Hulk brand.
Yeah.
Like a truck thing.
Yeah, that's so funny. That was what they used when like him and Rick and Cohen and those
Dashboard
guys were doing
Lucas.
Dashboard Lucas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That trail, and then he used that after that for his building career when he was
sick.
actually build for money, and then
Yeah, it was funny. I was like, hey, can I rent that trailer from you? He's like, you can just borrow it. I was like, cool. And then like 6 months later, he's like, I need to get that back.
Yeah, I bet.
I was like, okay.
We used that for our band trailer too when he and I were doing
Nice.
Holloway for the 5 years or whatever. That was our band trailer
that's
too.
tight.
Yeah, it was a nice little trailer.
Yeah.
That fucking thing ruled.
It's
yeah.
amazing that it's still going.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he sold it. Maybe, but
Yeah, I just had
he's
to like jettison a trailer in Georgia recently.
Oh no!
Because like I was leaving to drop some people off at the airport, and we had bought Mustard Plug's old trailer, and had done like 3 or 4 tours with it. And we were leaving Athens, Georgia, and I like looked in the mirror. I was like, "Hey guys, we got to pull over because its tire is on fire." It wasn't a fight. It was smoking.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
He's like, everyone's like, what are we going to do? I'm like, we're just going to leave it on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
He's like, you're going to get in trouble. I was like, there's
Take
no
the-
VIN number
Yeah, just
on
take the
this
plate
thing. You
off
just
or
take the
whatever,
plate
yeah.
off. There's nothing. But then
Somebody
eventually,
will pick it up.
yeah,
you know,
eventually
yeah.
what happened was I like texted my buddy and he was like, yeah, just drop it off. My friend will take it. I was like, sick.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about maybe getting in trouble.
That's super funny, man. Yeah. Nice. So what's up coming up for you? You said you're working on records. You got something
Sure.
coming out? I mean, you're always working on projects, right?
Nothing coming out. Wack Trucks are playing a show this summer.
Nice. I want to go to that, man. Keep me posted.
Yeah, it's going to be at that Rake Brewing Company. I
Yeah,
think.
they're playing a ton of huge shows. over
Yeah,
there.
rake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to happen. I'm always doing some sort of bullshit.
Rock and roll, some variety.
Yeah.
Yeah,
rock
make
and
sure
roll
you
life,
connect
man.
with Josh Rake.
Okay, yeah.
He'll be there.
Totally.
He's got a beard. He's a Detroit Lions fan.
Okay.
But he's there all the time. But
All right.
connect with dude. He is, in my opinion, helping hook up the Muskegon music scene
Love it.
better than any other venue in Muskegon right now. He
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
having
Booking over there?
he's one of the owners,
Okay,
I believe,
okay,
but
yeah.
he's directly involved in booking. Like he's
Yeah.
Right.
what do I say? Like a cool person who knows music type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I-
the
we
beard
didn't-
should narrow it down
I didn't
for
message
Yeah, the
him.
local
brewery,
music.
Yeah, I messaged my buddy
By the
Brett
way.
is also doing stuff. He's he's in that band Tunnel of Love. He also does a bunch of shows out of
Nice.
there. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean they get I don't know if you call it like Jesse Ray and the Carolina
Sure.
Catfish.
Yeah.
I mean they've been having some bands that are like those are the guys that need to be seen more.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
There's some people that need to be seen more, and Rake is doing the job of.
Yeah, it seems like the place.
Yeah, they're putting up a lot of metal, like heavy.
They do
shit
also
there,
put up
yeah.
metal too. Like
Tons
they
of
don't
metal
care.
shit, yeah.
They'll put up whatever the kids are, whatever the community is listening to. They're putting up those bands, and they're doing
Sick.
better than anyone else.
Sure,
in,
sure.
in actually holding to the musicality of choosing bands.
Sure. That makes sense.
But they'll also have DJs and lame stuff. No offense. No offense, everyone.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Hey, people like it.
Yeah.
They like what they like. Sorry, no offense to Devo.
Devo rules. What the fuck are you
Yeah,
talking
Devo-
about? dude? Devo kicks
Are they
ass.
are they like pre DJ?
Devo?
No,
you don't know
so-
what Devo is?
You should.
I know. All I know is they have fucking hats on, dog. That's all I know.
So Devo was started because, yeah,
Yeah, dude, it's fucking Devo.
they're not hats; they're energy drums.
Yeah.
Energy.
domes.
We were
Stones.
talking.
I don't know. All I know is Devo has this. Did they sing the "You Can Dance If You Want to"
No,
song?
that's Men Without Hats.
Yeah, that's.
But they're also a hat guy, right?
Well,
That's
so
not my bad. They got fucking hats.
So each okay. Well, let's pause.
Yeah.
So
Hold on.
Devo, how they started was two of the members were in the Kent State shooting.
Really, the Kent State shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Devo originally had 7.
as the story goes, the guy in the end, Jerry, was standing next to one of the people that got murdered.
On the right, on the far right,
Yeah, on the
Okay.
far right. And then they started this project with the idea that humanity is de-evolving
Yes.
versus evolving.
like Idiocracy.
Yes. So that, and they just shorten it to Devo.
Yeah.
So
It's
most,
Whip
we're
it,
gonna
dude.
turn it
It's
around.
fucking whip it, man.
Yeah,
Pyramid
yeah.
style leg
I've heard Whip It. Yes.
So that is the most
get us on
pedestrian
there.
of the Devo stuff. But so
Yeah,
most of
for
their
sure.
songs
Yeah.
are pretty subversive.
I loved that record they put out when they kind of got back together. It was like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago now or something.
Everybody wants was something for everybody.
Yes, I loved
They
that
had one
album,
good
dude.
song on that
Oh,
record.
come on. I loved that album. I thought everything was pretty fucking great on
They
it.
had one good song on that record.
Yeah. Well, also, so talking about great drummers, Josh Freese, one of the best drummers in the world, been playing for Devo for a long ass fucking time.
Sure.
Just got
I don't think he's in it anymore.
No, I mean Foo Fighters and et
Yeah,
cetera,
I think,
et cetera. But like,
do you know who
yeah.
their new drummer is?
I do not.
Fred Armisen.
Oh wow! Really?
What?
That tracks. Yeah. That adds up. And the main dude, Mark, is it Mothersbaugh or how do you say it?
Mother's Ball.
Yeah, he's a huge film
Yeah.
score guy or whatever.
Yep.
What do you call it? That was a terrible film
composer.
score guy. Yeah, a composer. Thank
Yeah,
you, Jesus. Yeah. Anyway, Devo rules.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, I do like it. That's Maynard's favorite band from
Indeed.
Tool. If you didn't know, his son is named Devo.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I didn't
soak
know
it
that.
in a little bit. Yeah.
But yeah, give them Look past the energy domes.
No, I love Devo. I mean, I love synths.
There's another. They also at the next record. Yeah, there's Fred Armisen playing drums and Devo.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It was funny. Fred Armisen did a show at Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah, I wanted to go.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that.
And like I was working it, and like talking to Fred, and he's like, "I think I played a show around here." I was like, "Oh, you did. You played a show around the corner." And he's like, because he was in a what was this band? I can't remember. Trying to blank. He was in a post-punk band. If you want to do some research,
yeah, give it a goog.
And I went to the show, and it was put on by Dave from Mustard Block. I was like,
cool.
I was at that show, and he's like, what?
Trench Mouth.
Trenchmouth, yeah.
Ah, okay.
They're sick.
Yeah, I've actually heard of that. Yeah.
And he's like, you were there? I was like, yeah. He's like, you're too young. I was like, I had a cool dad.
Nice.
And Dave, I texted Dave. He's like, I got the flyer. I was like, send it. And so I sent Fred the flyer, but it took I don't really care about him being on SNL. It took everything in my power not to punish him about Devo.
Yeah. I didn't know that he was playing for Devo. That's awesome, though.
He's a fucking good drummer.
He is, yeah. I loved that comedy for drummers, especially put out or something. Was really fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's a fucking. And I mean, Portlandia was fucking genius too.
Ruined that city.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, that city ruined itself.
Yeah, it was already ruined. Let's be honest. Midwest is the best. Dunk.
Well, shit, man. Yeah, I guess keep me posted on what you got fucking going on, coming out. I'd love to hear some of the shit you're working on. I hear shit actually quite a bit from Addison because I talked to him about because he's one of the guys I know I can talk to about microphones at any point, and he'll actually talk to me about them because I'm obsessed with.
I'll talk to you about microphones.
Yeah, dude,
whatever.
I'm just like, it's all I want to talk about. I'm such a fucking nerd.
It's a very niche thing.
Yeah, I know.
Calm down, you're gonna
I only
get
want to talk
excited.
about microphones.
Seriously though, and I'm like, there's like 3 people I know that'll actually let me fucking talk about them without being like, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Then nobody cares, you know. So,
some people care.
Yeah, no.
I almost bought some microphones today.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. I'm obsessed with that shit. But I do want to come over to the studio too because I know you got fucking tons of sweet gear and like I'm saying, I'm hearing shit he's doing out of there because he's like sending me, we track this today, like check this out, whatever and stuff. So.
I'm also very bad at self-promotion, so I'll never send anybody anything.
Yeah. Well, welcome to this podcast. We don't promote this at all, so nobody's gonna hear this.
Yeah, I also do a podcast that I don't promote as well.
Yeah,
we know a guy, Tony Capo, who knows how to do promotion, but we don't want to ask him because we're too afraid. He's actually a really good rapper, by the way. So
okay.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I don't want to say actually, he's a good rapper.
So yeah, man, I guess we'll fucking wrap it up. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
it was great
course.
fucking catching up with you, dude. Yeah, Cold War, you guys, it's a fantastic studio. Honestly, one of the best in the city. I've been to most studios in the city. It's definitely, in my opinion, one of the best. And I know you and Addison are both fucking great engineers and producers and shit. So you should track here with me, but if you want something good,
that's an old photo as well.
Yeah, it's a 6 space, and the control room is on the other side there. And
that's also none of my gear.
I don't actually own any of this. None of this is here, but
that was the band Coffin Problem.
This is okay. This is
just
a .com. So
this is just a room from Pinterest.
Indeed. This is somebody else's studio completely. Actually,
I think maybe the only thing I own still is that SM58 in that photo.
Oh, nice.
Just a 58. The only mic I own is a 58, but come out, track with it. It'll sound amazing.
No, I own that organ that's in the corner too.
Yeah.
That organ I got for $25.
Well, hey, when you're ready to start the 7-man theremin band, give me a call, bro. Give me a call.
8 theremins.
Oh, yes!
I'm down. All right, brother. Thank you so much. Let's wrap it up, guys.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers, everybody. Peace.